Do you really need protein to build muscle as a brown guy? Do you need the powders? Do you need the protein powder? Do you need that big tub? So, if you watched the last two videos, then the first one was Age of Ultron, this is Infinity War. Now we're on the end game of the Pull-Ups Packy Cinematic Universe. We're on video 3. The last one, unless I get another video idea that I'm doing outside in the grass with this change of scenery. So, you've seen the ads. A big shredder black guy takes a sip of a protein shake saying that this powder changes life. But then you think in your mind, your doubt creeps in. You think, do I need this to build muscle? Is this why I'm not gaining fast enough? We shift us back to our point of reference, where as brown guys, we constantly doubt. Like, I don't know if you do, but I sometimes do this. You doubt if our genetics, our diets, our cultural habits, if they're gonna put us like a step down in having a physique that we're proud of. And they make the question even more complex that we have to ask ourselves. So I'm gonna dive into protein powder while you're at peace listening to all the birds in the background. So, cultural context. We grew up in a brown household. Protein shakes were pretty much equal to drugs. Yeah, we were fed like chapatis, rice, dal, sabzi, maybe some chicken, fish if your family is non-veg. If your family was lucky to have the ability to eat meat and gain a lot of protein that way. So yeah, the foods I just listed above, other than chicken and fish if you're non-veg, I straight out just listed carbs and fiber and like a tiny bit of protein, like trace amounts. Not trace amounts, but like a tiny bit. I just listed a diet that isn't conducive to supporting a lot of tissue on your body. So yeah, it's like a far away cry from, like, you know, this bodybuilder saying, oh, I need to have 200 grams of protein a day, 300 grams of protein a day. Like, you're lucky to get 50 grams of protein a day on those like vegetarian diets. So yeah, why do we need this big change? Because we're actually training now, we're actually in the gym now, we're actually lifting heavy weights now. We need more protein to support the tissue that we want to build. So you need more protein, we know that, but do you need protein powder or do you just need food that's high in protein? So let's break it down into 2 steps. Number 1 is we need protein to support progressive overload. That's just lifting heavier, training harder over time. And we also need enough protein. So enough means, if you want to do kilos, 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram body weight. If you're somewhat close to how heavy you want to be. If you're not at your goal weight, if you're fat, then use your height in centimeters to figure out. Use like 0.7 grams per centimeter of your height, or just pretend you're at your goal weight and then judge based off that. Because right now, obviously, if you're obese, you're not gonna have that much more muscle than you at like peak jackedness, right? You're not gonna have that much more muscle. It's because it's just gonna be more body fat, and your body fat, you don't need protein to support body fat. You need protein to support muscle mass. So yeah, 70 kilo guy, you need about 110 grams of protein, based off the math. So the problem is South Asian diets fall short. Rice, dal, sabzi is only going to give you like 10-15 grams of protein. Even if you add chicken or paneer, like, you're still not going to get close to your protein target, right? That's where protein powder comes in. That's where it becomes convenient. If you can't get enough through food, there's nothing intrinsically special about protein powder. Protein powder is literally just like reduced down milk whey. Like, you know, like when you have dahi, like when you have yogurt and like you tilt the yogurt to one side and like that clear liquid comes out, that's what protein powder is made of. They just boil that down into a powder because that was a waste product. They're just making extra money from waste products from dairy. So yeah, protein powder is very convenient if you're non-veg, because bro, a single scoop is like 20, 25, 30 grams. That's like a whole like 2 meals for you non-veg guys. But is it necessary? I'm gonna look at the pros and cons now. Pros: it's so convenient. It's so much more convenient to have a shake than cook another meal. It's so convenient. Like, that's pretty much the main thing. It's so convenient to just have a tub of like 3 gains in your house. Number 2, cost effective. Protein powder in bulk is usually cheaper than getting like the same amount of protein from meat or like cheese or whatever. And especially if you don't have meat, like, good luck finding a vegetarian source of protein that isn't protein powder that's as cheap per gram of protein than protein powder. Like, if you're non-veg, protein powder is pretty much the only cheap source of protein you have, unless you want to go like artificial and have like meat replacement stuff. But even then, I'm pretty sure protein powder is way cheaper. Third one is, if you're cutting, then you probably need protein. I'm not gonna say that yet, but if you're cutting, like, protein powder is great for you, because protein powder, like, think about it, it's gonna sound basic, but protein powder is just protein. Like, there's no fat, there's no like organs, there's no like, I don't know what else you want to call it, but like when you're eating animal, you're not just eating straight like protein. Like 100 grams of chicken has 27 grams of protein. That means that like 3/4 of that is not protein. Protein powder is like, I think it's like 2/3 protein or like 70% protein. If you're getting like some fancy as brands, then it's like 80% protein. So yeah, it's low calorie because there's nothing in protein powder that isn't like protein usually. Like it's like 3/4 what you want. So yeah, 3 pros are it's so convenient, so cost effective, and it's very low calorie compared to the other options out there. Cons, we don't want you skipping meals. We don't want you skipping meals in favor of just having a shake, because number one, it makes your like eating habits weird. Like ideally, you want to be eating whole meals to like feel full. If you're not having that many calories, like you're gonna feel a lot more full from having like a whole bowl of whatever food you have than having a 500 milliliter protein shake. Even though if there's a 7 protein in both, all that's being equal, you're gonna feel more full with the actual meal. Number two is a lot of us brownies were lactose intolerant. Like we have a genetic, like we evolved like weirdly. Like we usually don't like lactose. So if you're getting whey protein, get isolate because it doesn't have the lactose problem. Number three is protein powder does not equal gains. So I made this same issue with a thing called mass gainer. So mass gainer is basically protein powder, but like they add like industrial amounts of carbs. Like imagine protein powder with just like powdered like bread inside and stuff like that, like powdered chemicals, MSG, bread, all that. That's basically what mass gainer is. It's just like a factory made slop of like powder that you add to water and it makes up a shake, and then the shake's like 1,000 calories or something. I was so tempted to get mass gainer because I thought mass gainer is going to equal me getting heavier, but I just realized, bro, just count your calories. You'll figure out how much you're meant to eat. You don't need the mass gainer, and I'm saying to you that you might not need the protein powder either. If you're vegetarian, if you're stuffing yourself, struggling to have protein, then by all means get the powder. But if you're not vegetarian, if you can have meat, then like you don't really need the protein powder. I don't need the protein powder either. I'll talk about my diet in a minute, but I'm talking about diet now. So can you build muscle without the powder? Yeah, of course you can. But the long answer is you need to be strategic. So protein powder allows you to like mess up a bit in your diet. So you could potentially have like a very carby breakfast, a carby lunch, and just have like spam protein powder, just spam shakes like at night time. So yeah, you need to be strategic. For let's say for breakfast, I'm gonna talk about a not vegan but vegetarian diet option. Breakfast: 3 eggs, 1 paratha, that's 25 grams of protein. Lunch: 1 cup of dal, 150 grams rice, and some paneer, 45 grams of protein. Snack: 200 grams of Greek yogurt and some almonds, that's 20 grams of protein right there. Dinner: 200 grams of paneer and some roti, that's 35 grams right there. So for that sample diet plan, there's 120 grams with literally no effort. But for me, it's even easier than brain dead. For me, my diet, I told you before, it's like meat, fruit, veg, and legumes like beans and stuff. That's pretty much what I eat, other than like if I'm going out, I'll have some sweets and stuff, with burgers and stuff. But for like a day at home, that's what I eat. For me, breakfast is granola and yogurt. Yogurt, we already talked about, like 20 grams right there. Granola is a bit as well, let's say 25. For lunch, I have 6 fried eggs. That's like 35 grams right there. And then for dinner, I have like a whole like heavy plate of chicken. Like for dinner, I literally have like 400 grams of chicken or something like that, with like hummus or like sauce or something. So I don't need to worry about protein, because no matter what, I'm getting like at least like 130-40 grams a day without trying, because I just eat a lot of like half my diet is just meat or like animal products. So yeah, if you're non-veg, then it shouldn't be a problem. If you're veg, then you have a fairer argument. Another deeper problem is protein powder is not a hack. It's not the reason someone got jacked. They're jacked because they show up to the gym every day. They push themselves hard every day. They eat in line with their goals every day. If you think a protein shake is gonna shortcut the process and just like get you to like point A to point jacked in like 6 months, it's not gonna be like that. It's just a tool that you have. It's not like the main thing. Like if you want the real hack, this is a side tangent. If you want the real hack, just gaining muscle, change your identity to say I'm a fit guy. I'm a guy that works out consistently. Don't say I'm gonna work out. Say I'm a guy who works out. Therefore, I'm gonna go to the gym today. If you think a protein shake's gonna be the shortcut, you're missing the point. Muscle is just a combination of consistency, patience, all that boring stuff. Okay, it's not have this shake and then that's gonna set you on your way. Protein powder is gonna help you if you literally like have a what's the word? Like a pragmatic. It's gonna help you if you have like a practical issue, but it's not gonna help you if you have a discipline or like mindset, like soft skill issue. If you have a practical issue where you literally can't stay in a deficit and eat enough protein, then it's gonna help you. I'm just trying to save you money. Like if you want to get a protein powder, don't listen to me. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just a random guy on YouTube. I'm trying to save you money though. Like if you don't want to get protein powder, don't get it. Invest that in something else. You don't need protein powder unless you're in that situation I keep talking about, not a guy that only eats veg and can't fit in calories. So final verdict, ask yourself these three questions. You got hand singles up there. It's a professional video now. 1, are you training consistently hard? That should be a given no matter what the video topic is. Question 2, are you getting at least 80% of your protein from whole foods? I have this in my notes typed in here. I don't know why. It doesn't have to be a hard and fast 80%, but you just have to eat enough whole foods so like you feel like a human, if that makes sense. Like you need to get like all those like random micronutrients because you feel like pretty bad without them. You need to get all your micronutrients, and then you need to eat like enough whole meals where you feel like I feel full and like happy and stuff. Like I don't know, when you eat like not artificial, when you eat like weirdly, like it messes you up. That's the most like vague sentence I've ever said on this channel, but like you might get my point, or you might not. Let's move on. Number 3, the main thing, are you falling short of your daily protein target with the whole foods? So if you answered yes to all 3, then yeah, you should probably get a protein powder, but it's a supplement. You don't need it, like straight up, bro. Like you can build muscle the brown guy without it, but you need to plan your diet carefully. So at the end of the day, like it's not the protein powder, it's not the fancy like ketogenic diet or whatever. Like it's just showing up, putting the work, making those small like improvements every day. Like I know you probably wanted like some detailed like crazy ingenious answer, but like bro, it's like it's all the boring stuff. It's just like show up and like you'll be fine. Like you probably don't need the protein powder. I probably didn't need the mass gainers when I was like 15, but we move on. This is why I'm giving advice to you, because I'm just spamming advice from like younger me. So yeah, time to get up. I finished the cinematic universe, so yeah, you probably don't need it. Check out coaching, check out calls.